It's honestly insane how well utilized Gowther is used in Fortnite. I had a feeling he would appear again, but to be hiding out as a Chaos Knight, that surprised me. Yeah, that actually surprised me the entire time. Going back even, I think Gowther's disguise was actually pretty good to the point where the readers didn't even fully realize that something was off with the announcer. I mean, a lot of us who knew about the extra pages at the end of, I believe it was volume 18, I believe? 17 or 18 at the end of one of those extra volumes was when we were getting inklings of Gowther showing up, because like we knew Hauser, Pelio, and Boris were going to show up in the Cauldron, but we didn't know where Gowther was. So honestly, I'm glad that we got that. Honestly, you think about Gowther's powers are terrifying. Being able to completely rewrite memories, if that power was in the hands of a psycho, this would be a horror manga. I am pretty sure there are series that are like this, not just in anime and manga, but in just media in general, or maybe like some novels somewhere. I'm pretty sure, because this is definitely not a new idea, but yeah, the fact that Gowther was literally doing this to be a literal Chaos Knight that nobody has really heard of, or maybe taking the place of one that's already around, and is even fooling Beltreipe in this instance, yeah, Gowther would have been like the perfect assassin if that was the case, which is insane to think about. He would be able to weasel his way into any organization, into literally any criminal outpost, or hide himself in plain sight. Because like, when we first started the time skip, Gowther was fooling everybody into thinking that he was just like a little pebble when he was in the area the entire time. So, yeah, but Gowther's abilities are kind of busted. I mean, what do you expect? He's one of the 7 deadly sins. Of course he would be pretty busted. Escanor's brother, Damon, has a grudge against Escanor and felt inferior to him after all these years. Being a knight for Camelot, and the end of the chapter where he's ripping his arm still has the traumatic memory of his hand getting crushed by Escanor. Not crushed. Literally like snapped in half just from being grabbed. But yeah, I noted that in the chapter review also, the fact that Beltreipe is just grabbing the arm that Escanor shattered, which is hilarious that despite the fact that Arthur is erasing certain memories, or at least altering some things, even if Escanor's memory inside Damon is gone, the event that did that to him, that was one of the most traumatic, most likely the most traumatic moments in his life outside of the literal coup d'etat that basically had people killing off everybody in his family in that revolt. So it shows just how big of an impact Escanor's power had, and I wouldn't be surprised if, while he's surviving, he heard of Escanor, the 7 deadly sins, and maybe he even saw his brother in those like multi-spanned years before, and maybe during when he was one of the 7 deadly sins or something like that. He probably heard rumors, maybe he probably saw one of his posters, and he felt even more like inferior to his younger brother because his brother had this insane, monstrous power that he had no idea what it was. So, yeah, that is definitely something to really think about. As for Gowther knowing Dubs, it's possible that they met through Demon Gowther, or possibly they met one day after Leonis tried to burn him at the stake. Gowther has a very odd existence where anything really could have happened. The burning the stake thing, I don't remember that being the case. I'm pretty sure you mean Gowther for that aspect, but yeah. Honestly, Gowther meeting Dubs, there are really 2 ways this could happen. A, like you said, Demon Gowther, the original Gowther. But I wonder if, because we don't see our Gowther meeting Dubs 3,000 years ago when he made the Coffin of Eternal Darkness, so I don't think that's the case, but I do believe he probably like fully met and talked with Gowther during this time span between Meliodas and Elizabeth's wedding, well, end of events of Cursed by Light, up until sometime before Fortnite's The Apocalypse happened, which I assume will be up to the time of Tristan's 10th birthday. That's the time frame I'm giving for Dubs and Gowther knowing each other, because Dubs has been gone for a long time, and Gawain has been hiding Dubs for a long time due to everything that we know about Gawain, and how long Dubs has been her personal chef at this point. So, yeah, I mean, it is an interesting thing to think about with 2 of them meeting and how they met, but it is what it is. It's not that big of a deal, but it's something to look back and think on. You would think with how much Gowther is being written in this sequel manga, it would be a bad thing, but it works. He conveniently shows up to add plot, but I like the guy and his poses. To the last part of that, yes, Gowther poses a lot, and it's actually kind of fun. But yeah, the way Gowther has been utilized in the sequel for Seven Deadly Sins is insane. I was not expecting to see so much of Gowther, but the fact that Gowther was the first sin we met, the fact that Gowther has been repeating in terms of being someone that comes in clutch, I love that. Not just in the Dolphler arc where he's introduced to Percival and the gang, but he ends up being shown post-time skip when An and Donnie are infiltrating Camelot. And right now, we're in Camelot again. And I think it works because Gowther is like the perfect support for the most part. Obviously, because King and Merlin aren't around, Gowther is good for espionage due to, you know, his memory manipulation and information gathering and his illusions that are insanely strong and realistic to the point where, literally, like I said earlier in the video, he disguised himself as a rock, at least the perception of everybody else. So, and he can also mess with people's nervous systems. So, yeah, Gowther is actually perfect for this role, and I'm actually glad that it's Gowther, because I feel like any other sin, if they showed up to, like, help the main cast on a certain regular basis, would be kind of overkill. Because, yeah, the other sins are way stronger, would definitely do a lot. I mean, we've seen just how big of a threat the sins are to just regular Chaos Knights. The Seven Deadly Sins have to be the most unserious group. Bond no diffing an evil, Gowther trolling an evil. First of all, I really don't like that Arthur's Knights in the official English translation are called the Four Evils. Four Perils sounds so much better, but other than my own personal gripe. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say unserious, more so broken. Because, literally, Bond, like you said, no diffed Ironside because Ironside got cocky, and Ironside was just like a regular human, or at least stronger than average, one of the stronger humans out there with good skill, and was able to use spirit magic, elemental spirit magic. But Bond is such an insane monster of a man, you just beat him with like 2 hits. Yeah, Ironside was still raring to fight, but he had a blow so strong that he would have died with another hit, 100%. And Bond was probably holding back a bit. And Gowther, mentioned previously, Gowther's just insane. But yeah, the Sins are literally the strongest characters in that series outside of Arthur. And the Four Perils have gotten strong with the power of chaos, but as of right now, they might not be on the same level. Not yet, but they could get stronger. But they are tricky, and with the power of chaos put into them, they are going to be a major threat going forward. But for right now, yeah, the Sins, I wouldn't sound serious, more so just incredibly broken and live up to the literal legend from the previous series that they all became. Great video, always looking forward to these reviews. To be honest, the Gowther reveal had me laughing my butt off with how he's just fucking with Beltreipe after he cut half his body. I'd also like to know your full thoughts on Beltreipe's identity in your comments video. Okay, first off, thank you, I'm glad you like my videos. Second, yeah, I find it hilarious that part of the information gathering and Gowther just being in disguise is just to mess with Beltreipe for the fact that he literally cut off half his body. I know Gowther said that it was said that to Dubs as a joke, but I don't put it past Gowther to just have a little fun with what he's doing right now. I don't think Gowther is just taking information and not having fun, just being like, oh, you cut off half my body. I'm pretending to be your right-hand man right now and you don't notice and I'm prying your memories. Gowther's probably one of the biggest trolls in new gen manga right now, which I find hilarious. Also, full thoughts on Beltreipe's identity. Honestly, I kinda like it. Utilizing a character that was just more or less a one-off and used for part of a fan favorite, or the fan favorite character in that character's backstory in the previous series, and then bringing them back in the most unexpected way. And it also helps tie into the legend of the Green Knight and Gawain. I haven't read everything about it. All I really know so far is that the Green Knight fights Gawain, and I think it's supposed to be a very brutal fight. So this could add a layer to when they inevitably fight. So Gawain's fight with Beltreipe is going to be very, very brutal or like really intense. So that's something. But I'm glad that Nakaba's taking like a seemingly minor character for the most part, or just a character that can be seen as a throwaway, and bringing them back in as a major threat, and then being related to, for a point, one of, if not the strongest characters in the previous series for the main group. Because, yeah, Escanor was the strongest member of the Sins for a long time, until Melios and Bond came back from Purgatory. But yeah, I just find it really cool and interesting, and it's a good way for me to just see Escanor again, even if it is just for a singular panel, go through mentioning Escanor. And Escanor and Nakaba's art style is always great, and Escanor is always like the best. He's my favorite character. He's my favorite character. Anything around Escanor, I absolutely love. We know the real reason for why Arthur isn't dead yet is because the franchise or series is based on Arthurian lore and legends, and in those, Arthur doesn't die or lose until much later. P.S. I have a theory that the heart of Arthur's mental problems is that Cath didn't fully disappear and has been slowly corrupting him over the years. I mean, first part, yeah, kind of. That and also Nakaba basically has been wanting to write this particular story for a long time, but ended up doing 7 Deadly Sins to build things up since he had the chance, which, all the better for it, because literally the information and setup from the 7 Deadly Sins makes a series infinitely better as a sequel, and even on its own, it ends up feeling a lot better as a series. So, yeah, there's that, but, yeah, Arthur is gonna lose until much later. Arthurian legend, all I know is that Lancelot is, like, supposed to be stronger than Arthur in Arthurian legend and the one to, I believe, kill him, or beat him. But that is one aspect of it, and yeah, I've also heard of the Cath corruption theory, which I'm going with that, but, like, I think with the fact that Arthur swallowed Cath, I don't think Cath is corrupting him. I think it's more so the fact that the way chaos is, it's just messing with Arthur's sense of morality. But here's the thing. We know that chaos essentially makes it so that a price for extra power from chaos, kind of like a contract, increase your power with the power of chaos, fusing it with you. That's what we know from the Four Perils and why they're as strong as they are and what happened with Ironside, Beltreipe, and Pelgard. But based on Arthur's dialogue, it seems that he's done a bit of that to himself, or at least getting rid of his human emotions to fulfill his goal, but that has been messing with his mind, so he's deteriorating or just being neutral chaos. I guess chaotic neutral, I guess, that would be the case. That would actually fit very well. But yeah, I don't really think Cath is going to make a comeback. He could, he very much could, but I don't want Cath to be back, if I'm being honest. I don't want Cath to be the main reason why Arthur is like this, because with how things were at the end of 7 Deadly Sins, Cursed by Light, even though that should have been a full arc or at least 2 movies in and of itself to fully flesh things out, and based off the stuff with the Holy War, Arthur's change to evil has realistic aspects to it, so I don't want to just be, oh, Cath is slowly corrupting him from the inside. That's just, I feel like that'd be lazy. It'd be interesting to an extent, but overall it's just an easy solution, and it will just be like lazy writing, because they're like, we have this entire thing with Camelot and the people in it that are hurting from the loss of loved ones from the Holy War, to the point where they want to get rid of the giants, the fairies, the goddesses, and the demons, even though many of them fought with them in the Holy War, or they were just caught in the middle of the Holy War between all these different races, and the humans suffer for it, especially with the recent Holy War and with everything with the 7 Deadly Sins and the Demon King. So all that is very realistic ways to turn people to your side, and having it just be Cath doing it and not Arthur coming to this conclusion himself through despair and just full-on trauma and even just a bunch of pressure from everything that's going on, and chaos corrupting him through those negative emotions, I would just feel like it'd be lazy and it just would ruin Arthur as a character for me, at least to an extent. But yeah, that's just my honest opinion, though. That if you like it, you like it, but for me, I just think it'd be lazy and poor writing. Maybe Gowther on the inside, he can find a way to undo or cure the Four Perils chaos. I don't want anything to happen to Pelgard since he's been my favorite character. Same, Pelgard is like my second favorite character, maybe third favorite character if I'm being harsh, but Pelgard is definitely one of the best aspects of Four Knights of the Apocalypse ever since his introduction. I love it when the guy shows up. He just had that energy where he's like the fun uncle that you just want to hang out with. And Pelgard losing his memories and connections to his wife, it's heart-wrenching. Not remembering anybody. And yeah, I do want Gowther to find a way to undo chaos, or at least find extra ways to bringing them back in chaos. I think Gowther will find information, but I'd say the key to getting rid of chaos would be Arthur himself, or maybe Merlin, if they find her, wherever the hell she is. Because I feel like if anybody knows more about chaos than Arthur, it's Merlin at this point. Do you think Gowther can help Tristan since Gowther has the ability to manipulate the mind and bring back memories? Do you think it's possible for him to bring back Tristan's memories? Yes, I do. I do think that by the time this arc ends, if Tristan's memories aren't triggered by the fight with Isolde or maybe Percival or Gawain, Gowther can just literally go into his mind and bring him back his memories, or just stop the brainwashing that the fake Isolde is doing. Simple, easy, but Nakaba definitely didn't do that yet because Gowther is more so focused on, gathering information for on Chaos and on the Four Perils, also screwing with Beltreipe, and I think he's gonna wait until things are over or things get too serious before anything happens. So Yeah, that is a thing. Okay, this one's a long one. Bro, if Arthur gets his own weapon from Dubs, then we're all cooked. We've seen how strong those weapons can be if used by strong people like the Seven Deadly Sins. If Arthur gets his own sword and it has the ability to control his chaos power and use it in an effective way, the Four Knights of the Apocalypse are going to have a major problem, and I can't believe that Escanor brother is working for the bad guys. Hopefully in some way, somehow, we can get his memories back and get freed from chaos, and somehow Sunshine still lives on and chooses him to become its vessel. A lot of things in that comment. Let me just address the easy ones first. 1. Even if Beltreipe comes back from chaos, he did this of his own free will. That was a big condition with Arthur, with giving Ironside and Pelagard the power of chaos. He had to give up his memories of free will, which means he was fully on board with what Arthur was doing. Just like Ironside and kind of Pelagard and as well as Worldane. So I don't think Damon is going to, I can't say his real name, Beltreipe, I don't think Beltreipe is going to go back to the good side. Maybe for the sake of his daughter, once he remembers, but I don't think that's going to be the case. And Sunshine, it either went back to Mael after Escanor's death, because based off of Curse by Light, Mael was using sun attacks to fight off the other goddesses. So I think Sunshine went back to Mael after Escanor's death. Or we can go with Gawain, and Gawain does have a variation of Sunshine. Like once Sunshine became part of Gawain, it changed due to the fact that Sunshine was worked differently from Mael and Escanor, so it works differently for Gawain. So Gawain technically has Sunshine, but it changed from Sunshine into Dawn, into a different magical ability. So that could be the aspect for that. I don't think Sunshine is coming back unless it's from Mael, and I don't think it's going to go to Beltreipe, in all honesty. Now for the main topic of this. Well, I do agree, if Dubs made a weapon for Arthur, it will be cooked, but remember, Arthur still has Excalibur. We have not seen him use it. And Excalibur changed due to Arthur unlocking his power as the King of Chaos. We don't fully know what this sword can truly do. So for all we know, it fully utilizes and conjures the power of chaos, because that is one of the most legendary weapons in the Seven Deadly Sins verse. So, and it also has the capabilities, knowledge, and fighting prowess of all the previous wielders of the sword. And Arthur dying by that sword also ended up helping with the setup to awaken him back through the power of chaos. So I don't think Arthur would have a weapon made by Dubs, since his ultimate weapon is Excalibur. But for the Four Perils, 100%, they would have Sacred Treasure class weapons for sure. Beltreipe's sword is interesting, if I'm being honest, because it's sliced through the sky in kind of the dimension of chaos for a bit. But I don't know if that was just a sword or just Beltreipe's magic power. Either way, if Dubs was taken in by Arthur in his group, 100% we'd be cooked. That is exactly what would happen. Now there's more hype for Gawain and Balin fight. It might trigger a memory for Beltreipe, not only because Gawain has his brother's power, but also because Balin himself physically resembles his brother, which might be why Beltreipe was so obsessed with him and didn't try to capture him during the tournament last year. Though I have to question Arthur's logic. I get erasing memories of their loved ones to make them stronger, but why keep those loved ones alive? Like, why not kill Diodora and Fake Isolde? Or is there a special reason to keep them alive? First off, that would be interesting, and I do think that is like why Beltreipe is like touching and rubbing and scratching his right arm that Escanor broke. Seeing Gawain seemingly use powers similar to Escanor, or maybe the fact that Balin does, at least, in terms of build, resemble Escanor to an extent. I can see that happening. Personality-wise, I don't think so. I don't think Beltreipe, when they were kids, saw Escanor's full Dave form and how it made him super prideful and arrogant, and I don't think they've met since they separated, so I don't think that's going to be the case. But I do like the idea of thinking about Arthur's mentality and logic after having people's memories erased in order to gain the power of chaos. So I think here's the thing. I would initially think, why keep him alive also? But you also have to remember, the fake Isolde, Diodora, they all went straight to the cauldron because they all kind of questioned Camelot. That's the whole thing with Camelot. It automatically sends anybody with doubts or resentment towards Camelot and plunges them down there, especially if they're a citizen. That's like a big thing. That's why there's so many prisoners and bandits and all that stuff in the centers in the cauldron, because they doubted Camelot. So that is the main thing I could really say. Now for Pelagard, his wife is definitely an interesting story, but I think it would be interesting if they're all just constantly fighting for Arthur and doing what Arthur wants them to do. Yeah, Ironside went back home, but he had apprentices. His thoughts of his apprentices didn't go away. only the ones that he fights for, the ones that he loves with all his heart, Theodora, and most likely his wife's memory is gone, and maybe even his brother-in-law's memory is gone. So that is definitely an interesting fact. Beltreipe, yeah, people who they want to protect. But I think the main thing is that they're not going to remember anything from them just by looking at them based off Ironside's reaction to Theodora or Beltreipe's reaction to seeing his daughter face to face. He'll have an inkling, but with how Chaos corroded his memories, it would most likely be the case that it won't be too big of a risk, especially if two of them were like out of the way, and Arthur might end up keeping everybody separate for all we know. But yeah, I just think it's mainly because like there might be a stipulation where they can't like outright die immediately, or by Arthur's hands as like a condition for the power up. But that is an interesting thing to think about. But I just think it's more so the fact that Arthur doesn't care. Like, legitimately, we've seen how he reacts to his own knights dying in battle, especially those that die, like, for his cause or doing something for all we know. His perils are literally just, like, powered up tools. And I'm like, okay, they're not going to remember their loved ones. I'm not going to kill them. They're my citizens. Whatever the hell. It doesn't matter. They're non-combatants. It's whatever. So I'm just going to bring it down to the fact that Arthur is just insane, which I think we can all get behind and all kind of understand. The guy's kind of insane for the most part. Strategically, he thinks logically for the most part and is relatively decent with plans. But in terms of his emotions and stuff like that, he's good at manipulating people now. He's legitimately insane and probably just doesn't give a damn if their loved ones are still alive and thinks that his power over Chaos just literally will make it impossible for them to remember. Because, again, they gave away their memories of their loved ones from their own free will. So that is definitely the case here, and I don't see anything like that breaking it, at least right now. But that's really all I can really think about for the time being. But yeah, those were all the comments of the week. Those were all I could fit into this one video, because I don't want to make these too long, in all honesty, and it makes things a bit of a challenge to make them longer. I picked more comments than last time. Who knows? It all depends on how things go. But what did you guys think of this video? Do you guys have any more thoughts to add on Chapter 185 of Four Knights of the Apocalypse and everything that transpired there? A lot of stuff centered around Gowther and his role in the story, and also just the revelation of Beltreipe and Escanor. So, yeah, a lot of stuff. Really awesome chapter. Loved that reveal. And based on like all the comments, I think everybody loved that reveal and we're hyped about it as well. And and also I'm really appreciating all the Gowther love. Gowther has just become the literal GOAT in this sequel series, so I'm just happy with that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for updates on future videos, and let me know if you're actually liking this type of content. I want to keep this up for a little bit to add a bit more for Four Knights content on the channel outside the chapter reviews, so I can talk to you guys and respond to your comments in these videos. But let me know if you want these to be longer, because, again, I don't want them to be too long so people can actually watch them. But if you guys want them to be longer, let me know. I'll start going over things. But for now, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys look forward to more Four Knights, because we're not on break next week, which is great. And Nazian vs. Theodora is officially going to start, so I cannot wait. But, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have an awesome day.